Thank you for joining me today. Our exploration revolves around an extraordinary but attainable goal, mastering our minds in a way that may appear miraculous. To achieve this, we'll dissect 4 key lessons, each designed to bring us closer to understanding and controlling the vast landscape of our thoughts and emotions. In the first part of our journey, we focus on the foundational concept of awareness. Awareness is the bright light that illuminates the corners of our mind, revealing the patterns and habits that dominate our thinking and behavior. But what is awareness, really? It is not merely noticing things. It is an active, engaged process of observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment. Imagine you're sitting by a gently flowing river watching leaves float by. Each leaf represents a thought or a feeling. With awareness, you watch these leaves drift past without picking them up, without attaching to them. You simply notice them. This metaphor is vital in our understanding of how to observe the mind's content without getting entangled in it. But why is this important? By practicing awareness, you create a space between your true self and the myriad thoughts and emotions that flitter through your mind. This space is powerful. It is the breeding ground for choice, for freedom from knee-jerk reactions to external events. How often have we reacted in haste and regretted at leisure? Awareness offers us the opportunity to change this pattern. Consider this. The next time you find yourself in a stressful situation, what if you could observe your feelings of stress as if they were leaves floating by on that river? What if you could acknowledge them and let them go, choosing instead a response that aligns with your deeper values? This is the power of awareness. To cultivate awareness, start with a simple practice: mindfulness meditation. Spend a few minutes each day in a quiet spot, focusing on your breath. When thoughts or emotions arise, note them and return your focus to your breath. This practice enhances your ability to maintain awareness not just during meditation. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. As we enhance our awareness, we also begin to understand the triggers that hijack our attention and disrupt our inner peace. Identifying these triggers is a crucial step in mastering the mind. They can be external, like a comment from a colleague, or internal, like a memory of a past event. By using our heightened awareness, we can start to recognize these triggers early and choose a different response. Now, consider the last time you felt upset or disturbed. What triggered that emotion? Was it truly the external event, or was it your interpretation of the event? Often it is not the situation itself, but our thoughts about it that cause pain. Learning to distinguish between the two can free us from unnecessary suffering. In conclusion, the practice of awareness is about observing the landscape of our minds with clarity and understanding. It allows us to see the transient nature of our thoughts and emotions and provides us the strength to choose our responses. This is the first step in mastering your mind, which might seem like a miracle but is truly within your reach. Before we move on to the next part, I invite you to reflect on how the practice of awareness could change your daily life. What difference would it make if you could observe your thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them? The alchemy of acceptance. Transforming understanding into action. As we advance into the second part of mastering our minds, we delve into the profound practice of acceptance. Acceptance does not merely mean resignation or passive endurance. Rather, it is a dynamic process of recognizing and embracing our present reality, including our thoughts, emotions, and circumstances, without resistance. Why is acceptance so crucial in the journey of mind mastery? Because resistance often creates more mental turmoil than the circumstances or thoughts themselves. When we resist what is currently happening, we expend energy fighting reality, energy that could instead be used to foster change or healing. Acceptance, therefore, is not about giving up, but about recognizing the truth of the moment as a necessary step towards transformation. Consider the nature of pain, both physical and emotional. Pain is exacerbated by resistance. When we fight against the pain, when we label it as intolerable or unfair, we add an extra layer of suffering. This is sometimes referred to as the second arrow. The first arrow is the initial pain, unavoidable and often unexpected. The second arrow is our reaction to the pain, which is within our control. Through acceptance, we avoid shooting this second arrow into our own hearts. The practice of acceptance starts with acknowledging our feelings and thoughts as they are. This goes hand in hand with awareness. When you notice feelings of anger, instead of immediately reacting or pushing them away, you pause. You accept that you are angry. This doesn't mean you justify the anger or act on it. It simply means you acknowledge its presence. Moving from awareness to acceptance, you might find a profound shift in how you handle challenging emotions. Let's say you're facing a difficult situation at work. Instead of being consumed by frustration or blame, acceptance allows you to see the situation clearly. You understand that your emotions are natural, but they do not have to dictate your actions. This clarity can lead to more effective, thoughtful responses. It's here that acceptance becomes transformative. It turns potential reactions into responses. Imagine how this could change not just individual interactions, but the course of entire relationships or life paths. With acceptance, you're not passive. You are actively choosing how to engage with your circumstances in a way that aligns with your values and goals. To cultivate acceptance, one practical exercise is to regularly reflect on situations that typically trigger resistance. Ask yourself, what am I resisting here? And what would change if I accepted this moment as it is? These questions can pave the way for a deeper understanding of your own reactions and enhance your ability to embrace the present moment fully. Acceptance also involves forgiving ourselves for our imperfections. Every journey has missteps, and mastery of the mind is no different. By forgiving ourselves, we release the burden of unmet expectations. We allow ourselves to move forward with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. Self-forgiveness is a crucial component of acceptance because it frees us from the endless cycle of self-critique and regret. In summary, acceptance is a powerful practice that changes how we interact with our thoughts, emotions, and life experiences. It enables us to face reality with open eyes and a resilient spirit. By integrating acceptance into our daily lives, we prepare the ground for deeper changes and set the stage for proactive, positive actions. As we reflect on the transformative power of acceptance, consider how embracing your current reality could lead to greater peace and effectiveness in your life. How might your personal and professional relationships improve if you approach them with acceptance rather than resistance? The symphony of self-compassion. Harmonizing inner peace. In the third part of our exploration into mastering the mind, we turn our attention to the nurturing practice of self-compassion. Self-compassion is not merely a warm blanket to soothe your pains. It is a proactive approach to treating yourself with the same kindness, concern, and support you would offer to a good friend. Understanding self-compassion is crucial because the way we treat ourselves influences every aspect of our lives, including our mental health, our relationships, and our ability to recover from setbacks. Many of us are taught to be critical of ourselves, to push harder, and to be relentlessly self-demanding. While striving for improvement is positive, doing so without compassion can lead to burnout and a sense of never being good enough. Self-compassion involves three key elements: mindfulness, common humanity, and self-kindness. Mindfulness allows us to be present with our suffering, to acknowledge it without exaggeration or denial. Common humanity connects our experience with others, recognizing that suffering and personal inadequacy are part of the shared human experience. They are not something happening to you alone. Lastly, self-kindness refers to the tendency to be caring and understanding with oneself, rather than harshly critical or judgmental. Imagine facing a failure or a difficult situation. Without self-compassion, you might spiral into self-criticism, isolate yourself, or even give up on your aspirations. With self-compassion, however, you see the failure as a moment of learning. You remind yourself that everyone faces setbacks, and that this does not diminish your worth or capabilities. To cultivate self-compassion, you can engage in simple practices. One effective method is to write a letter to yourself from the perspective of a compassionate friend. What would this friend say to you in your current situation? This exercise helps shift your perspective and encourages you to treat yourself with more kindness and understanding. Another practical approach is the self-compassion break. This involves 3 steps. First, whenever you notice you are suffering, say to yourself, "This is a moment of suffering. This is mindfulness." Next, say, "Suffering is a part of life," to bring in the common humanity aspect. Finally, ask yourself, "May I be kind to myself in this moment?" and provide yourself with what you need emotionally. Self-compassion also means setting boundaries and saying no when needed, which protects your well-being. It involves recognizing when you're overextended and taking steps to restore your energy. It's about acknowledging that caring for yourself is as crucial as caring for others. Through self-compassion, we not only heal our own wounds but also empower ourselves to engage more fully with life. It enhances our resilience, enabling us to bounce back from the challenges we face with a renewed sense of purpose and optimism. Reflect on how changing the way you treat yourself might change the way you experience the world. How would your life transform if you responded to your own errors and pains with compassion rather than criticism? How much more could you achieve if you were your own ally in your endeavors? The Labyrinth of Liberation. Unleashing True Potential. In this final segment of our exploration into mastering the mind, we focus on the ultimate goal, liberation. Liberation in this context is the profound freedom from the automated responses and deep-seated patterns that often govern our lives. It is about breaking free from the mental chains that restrict us, allowing us to live with true authenticity and purpose. Understanding and achieving liberation requires us to integrate the lessons of awareness, acceptance, and self-compassion into a coherent framework of continuous personal growth. It involves recognizing that we are not our thoughts or emotions. Rather, we are the conscious awareness that observes these mental phenomena. This realization is not just philosophical, it is immensely practical. Liberation means being in control of how we respond to our thoughts and feelings, rather than being controlled by them. It is about having the clarity and freedom to make choices that align with our deepest values and aspirations, rather than being pushed and pulled by fleeting desires and fears. One key aspect of achieving this state is the practice of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean being indifferent or unfeeling. It means being deeply engaged with life, but not clinging to outcomes, not getting entangled in the web of emotional reactivity. For instance, you can work passionately toward a goal, but maintain a sense of peace regardless of the outcome because your self-worth is not tied to success or failure. To cultivate detachment, practice observing your reactions during the day. Notice when you feel a strong emotional pull, be it anger, anxiety, or excitement. Ask yourself, Can I observe this emotion without letting it dictate my actions? This practice helps you develop the ability to choose your response rather than being swept away by emotion. Another powerful tool for liberation is the practice of deep introspection or self-inquiry. This involves regularly asking yourself questions like, what truly motivates my actions? Or, are my current habits reflective of my true values? Through such questions, you can unearth underlying beliefs and patterns that may not align with who you want to be. As we cultivate these practices, we begin to experience a profound shift in our lives. We find that our external circumstances no longer dictate our happiness or peace of mind. We discover an inner reservoir of calm and strength, which allows us to meet life's challenges with grace and equanimity. The path to liberation is perhaps the most challenging journey one can undertake, as it requires us to confront and transcend our deepest fears and limitations. Yet it is also the most rewarding, for it leads to a life of deep fulfillment and freedom. Consider how your life might change if you were free from the patterns and reactions that currently hold you back. What would you do if you were no longer afraid of failing? Who would you be if you were not trying to live up to an imposed image or expectation?